So, Alistair, you've recently written a new book called Inventing the Universe. Could you tell us what the purpose was of this book and what its genesis was? Where did it come from?
I arrived back in Oxford in 2014 as the Idrius Professor of Science and Religion. And for my inaugural lecture, I took this theme of the need for an enrichment of narratives. Yes, science and faith can be in tension, but they can also enrich each other. Let's see how we could do that. And the publisher heard about this and said, look, that's a very interesting lecture. That's a book. And so I thought, right, one of the first things I'm going to do as the Idrius Chair of Science and Religion is to write a popular level book which sets out a scientifically informed account of how science and faith can enrich each other. And so that's the book I wrote. And I have to say, it's been very well received. It's gone to multiple translations. Library Journal says one of the best books on religion written in 2015, which is very kind of them, although I'm surprised. But it really has, it's a manifesto. It's saying new atheism is giving you one way of looking at things. Well, you've heard that, and it doesn't work, does it? Here's a much better way of looking at things.
And do you think this book is aimed at challenging this meta-narrative that dominates the academy, the one that atheism is the default?
It challenges the prevailing meta-narrative, saying, look, it's just not that simple. But it does more than challenge. It says, look, the best challenge I can offer is to give a better way of looking at things. You used to think this. Look, here's what I think is right. How does that seem to you?
And how do you think the response has been from within the university or other universities, where this, in Taylor's words, this meta-narrative is not, you can't challenge it without looking irrational. So they might have thought you were irrational because you're challenging it.
I am challenging it, but I'm challenging it in quite a gracious and academically informed way. I'm simply saying, look, I can understand why you think this, but actually there are problems, aren't there? And I just outline what some of the problems are and say, look, and there are better ways of looking at this, aren't there? I set these out. And so in many ways, it's not an aggressive assault. It's much more a winsome engagement, saying, look, I can understand where you are, but actually, there is a better way of looking at this.
Then, religion, everyone says religion is back. And so we see this in politics and and also in some sense in the university, religion is back. Do you think the kinds of discussions you're having in this book will help us engage more fruitfully with religion more broadly than just the Christian religion?
I think it will. I think the point I make is, look, science and religion are very, very big in our culture. That's just the way things are. And so either they don't talk to each other or they do talk to each other. What I'm setting out in this book is a manifesto for a positive, constructive conversation. If people want to read it in a purely negative way and say, look, science and faith are at each other's throats, they read Richard Dawkins. If they want to say, look, there are possibilities for dialogue and actually maybe even enrichment here, they'll read me instead.
And do you think there are positive signs of change for the engagement between science and religion in the academy, or do you think we're still kind of in very early days?
I think there are signs of change. I mean, Elaine Eklund's done a lot of sociological research of scientists, and her research is showing that the plausibility of the conflict thesis within the scientific community is eroding rapidly. That doesn't mean everyone's becoming religious at all. It's just saying, look, people can see that this just doesn't make sense. The other thing she has shown through her research, which is very interesting, is this, that the best way of countering the conflict narrative is not through argument, but through individual scientists who've woven together science and faith and in their own persons hold them together. So the possibility of witness for individuals is very significant.